Joining me tonight, Dr. Ajay Alok, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Dr. Sanjay Jha, author, Imtiaz Ansari, State General Secretary of the JDU, Abdul Basit, leader of the RJD, and Mr. Biswajit Deb, spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress, also senior advocate. My first question to you, Dr. Sanjay Jha. Dr. Sanjay Jha, Rahul Gandhi, remembering Lal Bahadur Shastri, Madhav Rao Scindia, but forgets what's happening in a state where he is a partner in the government with Mr. Nitish Kumar. Of course, questions should be asked on Balasore. Of course, 275 lives have been lost, and it is a huge scar that this country will carry on its soul. But to completely turn a blind eye to a colossal waste of 1700 crore rupees, not one question, forget seeking resignation. Is that the morality standard of the opposition, Dr. Jha?
Navika, a very pertinent question, and a good evening to all the guests on your program. I'll tell you why the railway minister must resign. And I'm going to quote to you what he himself submitted to Parliament. In Parliament, the railway minister said that there are vacancies to the tune of 3.12 lakh people in the railway department across the country. This is the railway minister who actually said that there is a shortage of staff. 3.12 lakh. The question that somebody will ask Mr. Vaishnav today is, so what did you do about it, Mr. Vaishnav? And by the way, this vacancy data, Navika, is as of December 2022. Now, here is the fundamental question. When you go deeper into the analysis of really what that shortage meant, I'll give you the example of just the Central Railway. In the Central Railway, there was a need for around 50,000 people. And these are, by the way, people who are technicians, etc., etc. 50% of them who were not there were actually needed for the safety department. Which is why I come back to the point that end of day, what was Mr. Modi's government up to? And the simple answer is, this is really a Marie Antoinette government. You know, they are into bullet trains. They will inaugurate the Vande Bharat trains, no problem. But I am not concerned about safety. I'm not concerned about track renewal, etc., at all. You look at that remarkable example, and my heart goes out to the people who survived that Sampark Kranti, where apparently a brutal accident was on its way. And we were saved by the bravery of one or two people who worked with the railways. And that was, I think, a manifestation of the Jugaad BJP government. We are surviving today purely on account of Ram Bharose, literally. Think about it. That today you have a situation where the BJP, extremely disingenuous and as usual very unethical, is already starting the canard of sabotage even before the report is finalized. Now, I don't want to even get into that kind of unsavory, ugly kind of conversation the BJP does. But can we ask this question? That if you're going to have 3 lakh less people, every human being working in the railways today is exploited. He's vulnerable. She's vulnerable. Because they can make any error out of pure exhaustion. There are people working 16 to 18 hours. And this is the same government, Navika, my last point, which has given the corporate sector in 2019 a 1,45,000 crore tax break. In the last 4 years, it's over 6 lakh crores. NPA write-offs, 11 lakh crore. But I don't want to recruit 3 lakh people because my fiscal deficit will rise. But the actual value if you recruited 3 lakh people is 9,000 crores. And you have put the ordinary people of India, the poor, the new middle class and the middle class, who basically travel by train. I think the rich and the upper middle class take flights. The truth is you have put them at grave risk. I think Mr. Modi's government has to explain itself. Let the investigation happen. But I think the railway minister looks like a decent man, but he should have a moral conscience today to say, I quit. 275 people are dead. Over 1,000 are injured. I quit. I don't believe Mr. Vaishnav is a bad man, but there is no room here for India to have an incompetence that leads to the death of innocent people in a country.
140 seconds. Everything wrong with the Modi Sarkar. Not one line on Nitish Kumar. And I gave you 140 seconds. Sorry, I gave you 140. No, Dr. Sanjay Jha, morality just got buried under the debris of that 1700 crore bridge that was meant to connect north and south of Bihar. But let me get in Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Now just hold your horses. 140 seconds, you didn't have one word to say about Nitish Kumar. Just shows your hypocrisy, doesn't it, Dr. Anand Ranganathan?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, my sincere condolences to the families of the bereaved in this incalculable tragedy. 288 families destroyed within a matter of seconds. So, of course, things have to be put right and responsibility is apportioned. Now, I'm going to deal with only facts at this sensitive moment, so please bear with me. Number one, it is looking likely that this catastrophic accident is the result of either human error or a sabotage that led to the interlocking override. But even the overriding should have been double-checked automatically. It is unacceptable that a simple human error can result in the death of 300 people within seconds. Unacceptable. Number two, Railway Minister Navika wears a crown of thorns. It is an impossible situation. One would require upwards of $11 billion to make Indian Railways safe to use. Navika, it is also a fact that no other government has done more for the railways than the Modi government. It has spent 10 times more money on railways than the UPA. It has electrified 10 times more tracks than the UPA. It has equipped coaches with 30 times more bio toilets. It has improved passenger comfort and safety, and yet the situation is that more than 1.4 lakhs of rail safety jobs are lying vacant. According to NCRB, 250,000 have died of rail accidents this past decade. By the time this debate ends, Navika, 3 Indians would have died in rail accidents. And although so-called consequential train accidents have reduced in the last decade, there has been a 37% increase in them this year compared to last. Leave aside the damning CAG report. 2 weeks ago, railway authorities had warned of just this sort of accident happening soon. It is also a fact that the anti-collision device Kavach would not have helped in this case. But then I ask, why is it that only 1,000 kilometers of a total of 125,000 kilometers of Indian rail track network has been made Kavach enabled? Government shouldn't handle businesses or organizations. Government cannot handle business and organizations, and yet they do. Number 3. Now let me come to the resignation question. Ashwani Vaishnav undoubtedly has been a good, hard-working minister. And as I already told you, he is handling a hopeless, unreformable, state-owned dinosaur. When people talk of earlier occasions where rail ministers have resigned from Lal Bahadur Shastri ji to Mamata Banerjee, it is worth asking, was the accident in the wake of which they resigned the first accident during their tenure? And sadly, in all these cases, the answer is no. Therefore, the resignation is more a political or a moral decision, as no minister can or has been able to set right the railways mess. Also, if resignations were to happen after every accident, then should the Bihar CM resign today because of the 1700 crore bridge collapsing twice over? Finally, Navika, just 20 seconds. The time has come, whether we like it or not, for the railways to be completely privatized, because as Narendra Modi had said in 2013 and didn't keep his promise, the government has no business to be in business. And we've already seen what the situation was when the government was running airlines. But will we ever learn?
Good question, good question. But let me ask Mr. Abdul Basit, leader of the RJD. Abdul Basit ji, सवाल ये है कि कई सवाल हैं बालासोर के ऊपर. इन्वेस्टिगेशन ऑर्डर की गई है, ह्यूमन एरर है, साबोटाज है. जब रिपोर्ट आएगी तो पता चलेगा. लेकिन हाँ, 275 जाने तो चली गई हैं. एक तरफ 275 जाने गई हैं और दूसरी तरफ 1700 करोड़ रुपए का एक ब्रिज बह गया है, जिस पर तेजस्वी यादव जी कह रहे हैं कि हमने देखा, हमने इंजीनियर बुलाए IIT रुड़की के, उन्होंने बोला डिजाइन फॉल्टी है. अरे भाई, डिजाइन फॉल्टी था, पिछले साल भी गिर गया था, थोड़ा हवा तूफान आई थी तब भी गिर गया था, अब फिर से गिर गया है. तो भैया इंतजार किसकी हो रही थी? क्यों नहीं बंद करवा दिया काम? कल वहां दोपहर तक 2 बजे तक तो काम चल रहा था. तो भैया दोनों तरफ कहीं ना कहीं नेग्लिजेंस. और नीतीश बाबू क्या कह रहे हैं? अरे पिछले साल भी गिरा था, हमको बहुत दुख हुआ. अरे दुख हुआ और आप सवाल पूछ रहे हैं दुनिया से. आप मुख्यमंत्री हैं, दुनिया आपके जवाब का इंतजार कर रही है कि आपके सवाल का?
देखिए मैडम, इसको इतना ज्यादा मैं आपको बड़ा स्पष्ट कर दूं कि 2014 के बाद बहुत बढ़िया, जैसी गैमन इंडिया जैसी कंपनियां जिन्होंने गंगा के ऊपर 14 किलोमीटर का एक बहुत मजबूत पुल बनाया, 400 कंपनियों को इन्होंने ब्लैकलिस्ट कर दिया। और आज जो ठेकेदार हैं इंडिया में वो केवल और केवल आरएसएस के और सिर्फ गुजरात के और आरएसएस के ठेकेदार हैं, जो कि घड़ी बनाने का काम करते हैं, जिन्हें फ्लाईओवर का काम दिया गया। देखिए कलकत्ता का आर्किटेक्चर फेल कर दिया, आज जो आर्किटेक्चर पास हो रहा है वो सर गुजरात का। आज बहुत बुरा माहौल है, कोई कंपनी काम करने को तैयार नहीं है, उसी को ठेका मिलता है जिसको काम के बारे में बिल्कुल तजुर्बा नहीं है। ये सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, इसमें स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स का तो अपना वो है कि उन्हें फंडिंग अरेंज करनी है, मगर कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जितने भी हो सेंटर ही डिसाइड कर रही है। अब एक और बात, इसकी कंपैरिजन हम बालासोर से नहीं कर सकते। बालासोर में 300 आदमियों की मृत्यु हुई है, आप इसका कंपैरिजन 1700 करोड़ से कर रही है। ये सिर्फ उस पिक्चर को हटाने की बात है। 300 आदमी वहां मारे गए हैं, इसका पूरा का पूरा श्रेय नरेंद्र मोदी जी को जाता है, क्योंकि इन्होंने रेलवे मिनिस्टर को आज तक रेलवे मिनिस्टर के लिए कोई काम, रेलवे मिनिस्टर ने किसी ग्रीन सिग्नल नहीं दिया। सारी जितनी भी रेलवे होती है सब में नरेंद्र मोदी जी हरी झंडी देते हैं। आज जब एक्सीडेंट हुआ तो पता लगा कि कोई रेलवे मिनिस्टर अश्विन वैष्णव भी है। आज कहां वन मैन शो है मैडम, मोदी जी पूरे देश को ऑपरेट करते हैं और एक आदमी इतना काम नहीं कर सकता। किसी मिनिस्टर के ऊपर कोई जिम्मेदारी नहीं दे रखी। 235 एमपी जिनके ये नहीं पता कि हम आज एमपी हैं,
चलिए
आदमी इस देश को चला रहे हैं।
बासित साहब इस सवाल का जवाब तो मैं अजय आलोक से लूंगी, लेकिन मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूं, मेरा सवाल आपसे है कि तेजस्वी यादव तो रोक सकते थे ना पुल का काम, क्यों नहीं रोका? और नीतीश कुमार जी जो पुल बना रहे हैं, ब्रिजेस टू जॉइन ऑल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, वो ब्रिज कितना मजबूत होगा? अगर भागलपुर का ब्रिज इस तरह से गिर गया तो ये जो ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज को जोड़ने वाला ब्रिज है वो मजबूत होगा कि नहीं?
हमेशा एक ही टारगेट हम कोशिश 14 महीने पहले इस पुल के बारे में हमने पूरी तरीके से आवाज उठाई थी, जब हम सरकार में थे तब भी, और आज अगर वो दुर्घटनाग्रस्त हुई है, आज भी हम उसी स्टेप पे खड़े हुए हैं। अगर आज
भैया तब से आज तक ये फर्क है कि अब आप सरकार में हैं, आपका काम है पुल पर काम रोकना और वो फॉल्टी डिजाइन पर डिसीजन लेना। डिसीजन मेकिंग आपका हो नहीं रहा और आप तमाम चीजों पर बहाने मार रहे हैं। अजय आलोक जी,
सुन लीजिए,
अजय आलोक जी, आप अब्दुल बासित जी के और डॉक्टर संजय झा के जवाब से क्या जवाब देंगे उनको?
Well, Navika, about my friend Sanjay Jha, you have already replied to him that in his 140 seconds conversation, he just kept on speaking about the railways, but not a word about Nitish Kumar or for the bridge. That explains the hypocrisy and the selectivity, but I'm not surprised because right now he's not in the Congress, but he actually belongs to the Congress. See, as far as his leader Rahul Gandhi goes, Congress has RG. Techno Giant says that with 5G we can have a driverless vehicle, with 6G we can have a automated medical and transport service. But above all these things, Congress has an RG that is running the Congress, and similar way Sanjay was responding because he has RG. See, this bridge is nothing but is Nitish school of economics. Last year only the bridge, the closure of works order was given by the Nitish government when the BJP was part. I don't understand when after Mahagathbandhan government came, who gave the orders to start the work again and to complete the bridge by 23 December. This is the pertinent question which nobody is answering and everybody is dancing and beating around the bush. Who gave the orders to start the work on the bridge again when it was already declared that the design is faulty and the construction work should stop, and company was instructed to demolish the bridge, and which company did, but in a limited segment. This is the pertinent question which nobody is asking and nobody is answering. And the problem is that what inquiry you can have, because the people who will conduct the inquiry, they are themselves accused, and accused by none other than the JDU MLA, who is saying that additional chief secretary should be kept out of the inquiry as he is responsible for the bridge collapse, and he has been given the charge to do an inquiry. Well, so until if Nitish Kumar has a moral courage left, then either he should give a CBI inquiry or he should constitute a High Court judge inquiry if he doesn't believe CBI. If If you consider CBI as a center tool, fine, a High Court judge inquiry should be done. And if anybody is responsible, they should be taken to task. But they will not do it. This is the problem, because Nitish School of Economics in the last 2 years, because unless you have the work done in 2-3 phases, extend the work, increase the budget, then you get the commission and you require it. Because you need charter planes, you need to move around the country, you have Prime Minister aspirant, you have to have the Mahagathbandhan meeting in a state like Bihar where everybody will come from 22nd. Where will the money come from? These are the places where the money will flow.
Well, that's
So,
a
at the
serious
cost of Bihar
charge.
people,
That's a
they
serious
are
charge
dancing and
made
making
by
the
Ajay Alok. Let me get in Mr. Biswajit Deb, spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Mr. Biswajit Deb, Nitish School of Economics says Ajay Alok, where in 2014 this bridge had a cost estimate of 600 crores. Today 1700 crores. 8 times the inauguration has been postponed, and now the entire investment has come to a big fat zero. Till the last minute work was going on. Question is accountability. This is the Nitish Kumar School of Economics and the Nitish Kumar School of Politics we've all seen. He's building bridges to join all the opposition parties. My question to you is simply this. On both sides, when the elections come, people have to choose between work done by the party in power today, which is the BJP, and party in power, which is wanting, party in opposition, which is wanting to come to power, led by people like Mr. Nitish Kumar. Where do you think the choice will lie?
Well, before we come to the bridge, let me first tell you that let me convey my deepest condolence for the bereaved family, and I wish all the injured a speedy recovery. Now, before we come to the bridge collapse, let me tell you one thing about the railways. We need to talk about the railways first, because I think that is a priority, where 300 people lost their lives, and they lost their lives due to the total negligence of the railway department and the central government. The entire negligence of the railways and the central government. It is not only a negligence, it's a criminal negligence, I will say. You see, there are several reasons. When at the time of Mamata Banerjee, when Mamata Banerjee was the railway minister, she introduced the anti-collusion device that was withdrawn in this particular regime, and the Kavach was introduced, and we can see that in only 2% of the railway tracks they introduced this Kavach system, whereas the entire railway system is covered by 68,000 kilometers of railway track. Now you can see the horrible condition of the railway tracks. The railway tracks are not maintained. There is no safety measure, in spite of thousands of crores being allocated for safety measures. There are no safety measures so far as the railway tracks are concerned. Now, again, I'll talk about the signaling system. The signaling system is an utter failure. So the entire railway, there is no infrastructure. There is absolutely no infrastructure. You travel in a railway and you can understand the condition, the pathetic condition of the toilets. You won't be able to just sit in the compartments. And they are talking about Vande Bharat. They are introducing Vande Bharat. And first of all, you improve the infrastructure, you improve the signaling system, you improve the railway lines. Then you talk about introducing new trains. The entire system has failed. It is not only railways, but the entire central government in each and every respect is a total failure. Right from the time of 2014 till date, this 9 years is an utter failure of Modi government, be it employment, be it industrial development, or be it anything else. It is a total failure of the Modi government since the last 9 years. And they are criticizing Mamata Banerjee and Mamata Banerjee's regime as a railway minister. When Mamata Banerjee was a railway minister, when Nitish Ji was a railway minister, when Lalu Ji was a railway minister, things were different. Things were different altogether. But now we can see the horrible condition. when you travel in a rail.
Things
you
were
see-
different?
you see,
Were the
Madam
things
Nandita,
really different,
I travel by
Dr.
rail.
Anand
I
Ranganathan?
travel by
UPA
rail.
1, 2004
Yes,
to
really
2008, there were
different. Really different. And this is
1,034 accidents. About 1,159 people lost their lives. UPA 2, 2009 to 2014, 677 accidents and almost 1,300 people lost their lives. NDA 1, accidents 478 and 747 people lost their lives. What are we talking? I mean, even if statistics have to be seen, is the Vande Bharat the only soft target that they can talk about to say why accidents have increased? Because there are enough accidents that are happening, and probably the death toll, if anything, has been lesser than it was in UPA 1 and 2.
No doubt about it. But first of all, I would like to ask through you, Navika, Biswajit Da, as to, according to him, how many consequential rail accidents happened during the time Mamata Banerjee was the railway minister? Sir, do you have a number?
You see, Ganeshwari, yes, let me reply. That Ganeshwari accident, it was not an accident. It was a sabotage by the Maoists, supported by the CPIM-led left-front government in West Bengal. And that is what exactly happened. And that is why Mamata Banerjee at that time ordered for a CBI probe. And it is 12 years, nothing, there is no outcome. The CBI probe is ultimately a big zero because there is no result. And similar thing will happen here also. You see, when the answer sheet of a nephew is seen by an uncle, you know what can be the result. And that is what exactly will happen now also.
Biswajit
The
Da,
CBI
I
will
request
inquire
you to not...
into this Balasore incident and it will be the same consequence.
Well, Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Now, I asked him a very simple question. How many consequential, and by consequential, railways have categorized the type of accidents? Consequential means serious accidents like collision or fire in the train. So I asked a very simple question. He gave me just one answer. That too, he said, was sabotage. I asked him to give me the number of consequential rail accidents that happened during Mamata Di's stint as the railways minister. Dada, how many happened?
The question is, during Mamata Banerjee's regime, she improved the railways and this government deteriorated the entire condition.
How many
The
consequential
improvement done by Mamata
accidents?
Banerjee
How
has
many
been totally
consequential
ruined by this
accidents is the
particular
question?
government.
How many consequential accidents?
I know what is the question. Let Dr. Ranganathan reply. I am again saying that whatever improvement had been done by Mamata Banerjee, and I am
Anand Ranganathan, you are not getting a number. So make your point. Make your point to Vishwajit Da. I'm coming to you, Dr. Jha.
And they introduced the covered
Vishwajit Da,
system,
please,
which is a
because
total failure.
Biswajit Da, I was intent, you must have heard me before, intent to make this discussion apolitical, because that is the only way you can solve this crisis. And I'm sorry, this is a crisis. I said every rail minister wears a crown of thorns. I quoted the data and it is scary. 250,000 Indians die of rail accidents. This is not a joke. Dada, so it's not a question of 1 or 2 accidents. The question is, what are we as governments doing? And the answer is pitiful. And how the situation will change? The situation can change only when we realize that when we were handling airlines like Air India, it was hopeless. And it is as hopeless as we are handling the railways. But when will we learn this lesson?
No, but the minute any talk of privatization happens, then there will be another. Then there will be another Waterloo that will happen. And Dr. Sanjay Jha, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When politics enters the field of economic decision making, what do we see? Right now, this accident should be telling us that there is a whole different kind of solution that we need.
Will have to resign after the 2024 election when the people will vote against this government.
Biswajit Da wants only a resignation. But he will not ask for a resignation when 1,700 crore rupee bridge collapses and just goes down the Ganga river. And Dr.
Navika,
Sanjay Jha, even while I was talking
Don't
to you about
forget,
the economics
it's a loss of
question,
300
you know,
lives.
it's just
It's a
before
loss
your
of
eyes.
300 lives.
It's just
Don't
before your
forget.
eyes. Only priority is resignation of a BJP Mantri because politics is important, but no word about Nitish Kumar.
No, he
because
didn't
because
decide.
opposition
He did not
unity is
decide.
important and we
People
have to
will
be
make
in
him
business in
resign.
2024.
People will
Isn't
make
this
him resign.
as
In
transparent
the
as
2024.
day when you
People will make him resign.
hear these kind
Don't
of
worry.
arguments being given by the senior advocate? Dr. Jha?
But Navika, let me tell you this. I want to put this on record. It doesn't matter whether the bridge started when there was actually a BJP JDU government. Today, the government which is there of the Mahagathbandhan in Bihar is accountable. Yes, it should be accountable. Absolutely. There is no running away from that reality at all. And I will agree with Anand completely today because I think he's made a very neutral, dispassionate argument. And I'll tell you why I'm going to tell you this. With every government, Navika, there needs to be a continuity in terms of an improvement in our operating standards. I agree that there were accidents during the UPA time, but these numbers must come down under Mr. Modi's government. And let's suppose there is a new government in power
Fair
in
point.
2024.
So then I want to know from you, will you support the Modi
5
Sarkar
seconds
if
to
they were
answer.
to move for privatization of Indian Railways? Will you? Because on GST you went back, on the farm laws you've gone back. Your track record is pathetic.
Well, Navika, I'll tell you what. One will back anything which is in the interest of the ordinary consumer of India. And as long as deals are not given to a favored industrialist who gets all the railway stations.
Do you have Mr. Rahul Gandhi's affirmation on this decision if it were to be taken?
Well, Navika, let me tell you this.
He'll be
the
double
Congress party is
suspended.
bigger than an individual. And there's a Congress party, by the way, which liberalized, privatized, and actually brought in what I call as the foreign direct investment.
Basically, we understand economics. My problem in this country is that politics always takes priority over economics.
Navika,
Anand Ranganathan, you're showing something. What's that?
Yes, no, I didn't want to, that's why I didn't want to politicize the matter, but because Biswajit Da was not able to answer this question, let me quote from Times of India directly. Mamata Banerjee served as the railway minister under both Vajpayee and Manmohan Singh government, oversaw 54 collisions, 839 derailments and 1451 deaths.
Those numbers are on your screen, Biswajit Da, the numbers that you didn't want to talk about. But let me get in Mr. Imtiaz Ansari, State General Secretary of the JDU. Imtiaz Ansari साहब, सवाल ये है कि बालासोर पर बिल्कुल अकाउंटेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, कोई दो राय नहीं है. 275 लोगों की जानें चली गई, 275 lives and 275 families have been destroyed. Certainly accountability and fixation of responsibility is the top priority. लेकिन 1700 करोड़ जब बह जाते हैं तो क्या मुख्यमंत्री से ये लोग अपेक्षा करते हैं कि वो कहेंगे पिछले साल भी हुआ था, हमने तब भी बोला था, अब भी हमने अपने अफसरों को बोला है कि जाइए देखिए और उस पर कुछ निर्णय लीजिए? ये इस तरह से मुख्यमंत्री सवाल पूछते हैं क्या जब इस तरह के हादसे होते हैं?
देखिए नविका जी, हम दोनों विषय पे आपको बता रहे हैं. रेल दुर्घटना पे जो है वो काफी दुखद है और इस पे हम लोग राजनीतिक भाषा हम लोग नहीं प्रयोग करना चाहते. देश का ये बहुत बड़ा दुखद घड़ी है और जो लोग मृतक हैं उनके परिवार को इस दुख की घड़ी में उनको शांति प्राप्त हो. और मृतकों की जो संख्या है, हमको तो लगता है कि जो नंबर बताया जा रहा है केंद्र सरकार से, उससे भी ज्यादा ही मृतक की संख्या हो सकती है. लेकिन एक बात है कि रेल विभाग जो है एक अपने आप में देश का बहुत बड़ा विभाग. आप देखिए 2014 के पहले रेल का बजट का एक अलग से प्रावधान था, रेल का बजट अलग से पेश किया जाता है और उस बजट पे जो दोनों सदनों के माननीय सदस्य चर्चा में भाग लेते थे, प्रत्येक माननीय सदस्य उसमें भाग लेते थे. नीतीश कुमार जी के समय तो पूरा रात सदन चलता था और दूसरे दिन सुबह 7 बजे खत्म होता था. सभी माननीय सदस्य अपना अपना सुझाव देते थे. रेल का एक अलग से बजट होता था, रेल का एक अलग से सब चीज होता था. आज उन तमाम चीजों को खत्म कर दिया गया. उन तमाम चीज लगता है मिट गया है। तमाम नियम, तमाम कानून को दरकिनार कर करके इस विभाग को चलाया जा रहा है, जो ये
भागलपुर के ब्रिज पर कौन से नियम चल रहे थे, आप उसका भी ब्यौरा दे दीजिए।
नविका जी उस पे भी बता रहे हैं। भागलपुर का जो पुल है, 30 अप्रैल 2022 को पहली घटना हुई थी। उस समय इस विभाग के माननीय मंत्री भाजपा के कोटे के श्री नितिन नवीन जी थे। उसी समय IIT रुड़की को उसके लिए जांच के लिए दिया गया था। और आप देखिए कि इस विभाग को लगातार 5 साल जो है इस विभाग के माननीय मंत्री भाजपा कोटे के ही मंत्री रहे, चाहे वो मंगल पांडे जी रहे, चाहे वो नंदकिशोर यादव जी रहे, आखिरी समय में आदरणीय श्री नितिन नवीन जी रहे, तमाम लोग। और ये मुख्यमंत्री जी का ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट है। मंत्री परिषद के माननीय सदस्य का दायित्व होता है कि वो अपने विभाग की समीक्षा करते हैं, देख रेख करते हैं। इस तरह की घटना हुई है, मुख्यमंत्री जी ने तुरंत इस पे जांच का आदेश दिया है। और जो भी
मुख्यमंत्री तब भी नीतीश कुमार जी थे, मुख्यमंत्री आज भी नीतीश कुमार जी हैं, लेकिन जवाबदेही है बीजेपी की। चलिए समझ आ गया अंसारी जी, समझ आ गया। मुख्यमंत्री रहेंगे नीतीश कुमार जी, लेकिन जवाबदेही बाकी लोगों की होगी। अजय आलोक जी प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड।
Navika, this is nothing new. They don't have any answer to it. They know they are caught in catch-22 situation. My point is very different. This will continue in Bihar. This is not going to stop. I told you this is Nitish School of Economics. It will continue until 24. Because they want to have that leverage where money can flow in. They have to contest elections. There's a need for chartered flight. So they don't have any answer to it. It's a criminal negligence on the part of the government to allow the construction on the bridge to happen again when they knew that it is a defaulty design and the bridge can collapse. That means they never thought about the safety of the people of Bihar. Today Bihar is crying because at the cost of Bihar people's money, some people are just nurturing the ambition to become the prime minister. And for that they have forgotten how to rule, how to do a governance. The Sushashan Babu has gone to Kusashan Babu. That is the fact.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the morality in politics today. Resignation of the railway minister sought, but no answers or even questions being asked of Nitish Kumar, simply because he is the man who's building bridges to build opposition unity. And all political parties in the opposition are shying away from asking any questions to Nitish Kumar. Clearly, no comparison between Balasore and Bhagalpur. But the question is of accountability and the varying moral standards. Is morality now completely dead in Indian politics? That's the question we are asking tonight. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.